Hi guys! So with the weather warming up and living in an area where we need to be water wise, today I wanted to talk to you about succulent plants and succulent plant propagation. So succulent plants are often found in really dry desert conditions, and guess what? They also do really well here in San Diego. So if you have some space in some pots or maybe in your yard that gets a lot of sun, succulent plants are a great addition to have in your yard or in your garden or on a deck. So succulent plants also have some really special adaptations. One of them being is that they have these really thick fleshy leaves, and what those leaves do is they actually serve as organs to help store water for the plant so that it doesn't need to be watered as often because it's actually storing water for itself. Another adaptation that they have is that succulent plants, instead of having roots that dig really deep into the ground, they almost have worm-like roots that they stretch out wide. So when they live in areas that don't get a lot of rainfall, the water doesn't need to seep as deep into the ground. If it just seeps a little bit, those wide roots that stretch out this way can actually get access to the water. And then the third is that they have a really hardy or strong structure, and that just protects the plant from both wind and from heat. So I'm wondering if any of you have ever seen or been pricked by a cactus plant. So this is kind of interesting. All cactus plants are succulents, but not all succulents are cactus plants. So what distinguishes a cactus plant is that they have these holes where the spines are formed, and not all succulent plants have those holes. And this one is really little, so it's hard to see, but there are tiny little holes and there are tiny little spikes coming out of this cactus plant. And that is actually another adaptation, and those spikes just really protect the plant from getting eaten by any really hungry or thirsty critters. And this cactus plant looks like a little baby foot to me. So I just want to share really quickly a few fun facts about some of my favorite succulents. So an agave plant is a succulent, and it can actually take 25 years before it forms a flower. And the tallest saguaro cactus, those are those cactuses that do have those spines, and they're kind of tall, and the arms are sometimes funny like this. The tallest saguaro cactus on record is 67 feet tall. That's huge. And some cacti plants can actually live for up to 250 years. So next we're going to talk about succulent plant propagation. Okay guys, so now let's talk about succulent plant propagation, which is one of the coolest features of these plants. And propagation is a technique of sprouting new plants from the cuttings or clippings of other plants. And you can do this with many plants, but succulents are especially fun to try. So there's a few techniques for propagating succulents, but each of these clippings went through 2 steps to be ready to be planted in the soil. And the first thing is that the clipping was carefully pruned beneath the leaf of a stem of a larger succulent plant. So I got these from this. And then the clipping was left alone for a few days to dry out. And what this does is it allows the base of the small plant, if you can kind of see, to scab over. So this one I did just yesterday, and it's still a little too wet, so I'm going to let it dry out for a couple days. But this one, this guy, he is more than ready. So if you plant these right away and into moist soil, what's going to happen is you're actually going to drown the succulent. So allowing it to dry out for a few days beforehand is really important. And then once you're ready, just take your clipping, and then you're gently going to push it into some slightly moist soil. And then from here, you just stick it in the sun and you let it do its thing. So be careful not to over water your succulent. Only water when the soil is really, really dry. And actually, you're more likely to damage your succulent by overwatering than underwatering. So if the plant becomes extremely dry, add some water and then it'll most likely bounce back. So it's fun to try, and if you don't have any succulent plants, you can always ask a neighbor if you can take some small clippings and maybe start your own succulent garden at home. And there's ours. And the last thing I wanted to share with you today is I wanted to show you this cactus plant. And I mean, seriously, don't they look like cute little baby feet? But I wanted to show you a close-up so you could really see the holes and the spines And remember that all cacti plants are succulents, but not all succulents are cacti. Have a great day, guys.